Please be seated. The inauguration ceremony for new students, organized by the Center of Development and Resources for Students, CEDARS, is the university's formal welcome to all first-year students. To begin the proceedings, let us invite the Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. Eugenie Leung, to introduce to you the members of the procession. Dr. Leung, please.
President and Vice-Chancellor, fellow members of the university, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor to introduce to you the procession members for the inauguration ceremony for new students. First, I would like to introduce the President and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Xiang Jiang. Professor Jiang is the head of the university. Professor Jiang, please. Next, I would like to introduce the Provost and Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Professor Richard Wong. Professor Wong assists and deputizes the President and Vice-Chancellor in the management of the university, especially in the areas relating to strategic planning, academic development, allocation of resources, human resource planning, and other strategic initiatives. Professor Wong, please. Now, I would like to introduce the Executive Vice President, Administration and Finance, Mr. Steve Low. Mr. Low assists the President and Vice-Chancellor in leading and overseeing the university's professional and administrative operations to enhance the university's capability to scale even higher in the ever-changing and increasingly competitive local and international environments. Mr. Low, please. Now, I would like to introduce the Vice Presidents and Pro-Vice-Chancellors. The Vice Presidents and Pro-Vice-Chancellors assist the President in various areas of responsibility. The Vice President and Pro-Vice-Chancellor Teaching and Learning is Professor Ian Holliday. Professor Holliday assists the President and Vice-Chancellor in setting the direction and policy for the university's curriculum, teaching and learning, and quality assurance of undergraduate and taught postgraduate curricula. Professor Holliday, please. The Vice President and Pro-Vice-Chancellor Academic Staffing and Resources is Professor Terry Au. Professor Au assists the President and Vice-Chancellor and the Provost and Deputy Vice-Chancellor in recruiting, nurturing, promoting, and retaining academic talents by modernizing the university's human resources policies and practices to create a more supportive, motivating, just, and diverse work environment for colleagues. Professor Au, please. The Vice President and Pro-Vice-Chancellor Institutional Advancement is Professor Norman Tien. Professor Tien assists the President and Vice-Chancellor in leading and coordinating the university's institutional advancement endeavors and initiatives to strategically enhance the university's international relations. Professor Tien, please. The Acting Vice President and Pro-Vice-Chancellor Research is Professor Alfonso Ngan. Professor Ngan's primary responsibility cover the planning and execution of strategies in research, innovation, knowledge exchange, technology transfer, entrepreneurship, and postgraduate education and research. Professor Ngan, please. Now, I would like to introduce to you the deans. The university has 10 faculties and a graduate school. Each of these faculties is governed by a board, which includes student representatives, and they participate fully in the work of their boards. The faculty deans will be introduced in chronological order based on the founding year of the faculty in accordance with the university's protocol. The Dean of Medicine is Professor Gabriel Leung. Professor Leung is the Helen and Francis Simon Professor in Population Health and the Chair of Public Health Medicine. Today, he is represented by the Executive Associate Dean of Medicine, Professor Vivian Lin. Professor Lin is a Professor of Practice Public Health. Professor Lin, please. The Dean of Engineering is Professor Christopher Chow. Professor Chow is the Chair Professor of Mechanical Engineering. Professor Chow, please. The Dean of Arts is Professor Derek Collins. Professor Collins is the Chair Professor of History in the School of Humanities. Professor Collins, please. The Dean of Science is Professor Matthew Evans. Professor Evans is a professor in the School of Biological Sciences. Professor Evans, please. The Dean of Social Sciences is Professor William Hayward. Professor Hayward is a professor of psychology. Professor Hayward, please. The Dean of Dentistry is Professor Thomas Fleming. Professor Fleming is the clinical professor in periodontology and the King Bird Professor in Advanced Dentistry. Professor Fleming, please. The Dean of Education is Professor A. Lynn Goodwin. Professor Goodwin is a professor in teacher education. Professor Goodwin, please. The Dean of Law is Professor Hualing Fu. Professor Fu is Warren Chen Professor in Human Rights and Responsibilities. Professor Fu, please. The Dean of Architecture is Professor Christopher Webster. Professor Webster is the Chair Professor in Urban Planning and Development Economics. Professor Webster, please. The Dean of Business and Economics is Professor Hongbin Chai. Professor Chai is the Chair Professor of Economics. Today, he is represented by the Acting Dean of Business and Economics, Professor Tsingang Tao. Professor Tao is the HSBC Professor in Global Economy and Business Strategy. Professor Tao, please. The Dean of Graduate School is Professor Frederick Leung. Professor Leung is also the Chair Professor and Kintoy Professor in Mathematics Education. Professor Leung, please. After the deans, I would like to introduce the registrar. You should all know the registrar as she is the person who offers you admission to the university. The registrar is also the head of registry, which is the main administrative office of the university. The university registrar is Ms. Jeannie Zhang. Ms. Zhang, please. Now, I would like to introduce the librarian, who provides the outstanding information resources and services that are so important for your study. The librarian is Mr. Peter Sudocko. Mr. Sudocko, please. I would also like to introduce the Dean of Student Affairs Designate, Professor Samson See. Professor See is a professor of mental health in the Department of Social Work and Social Administration. He will be the Dean of Student Affairs with effect from 1st of September 2020. Professor See, please. Last but by no means least. The president of the student union is Ms. Edie Ye Ji Lam. All undergraduates of Hong Kong U are members of the student union. The union plays a crucial role in promoting student welfare and the governance of the university. It also has a long and proud tradition in advancing society through student involvement. I think many of you may have met Ms. Ye already. She is a third-year student in the Faculty of Business and Economics. Ms. Ye, please. This is the end of my introduction. After introducing the procession, I would like to give you a short introduction to the history and philosophy of the university. The culture of this great institution has much to be explored, with plenty of opportunities open to you. May I take this opportunity to show you a video that you will see how the university has grown into its present status and get a glimpse of its future and what student life at Hong Kong U is like. I hope you will share the pride of being a member of this prestigious family.
There are many factors and people contributing to the founding of a university. Not one person can take all the credits. Yet, Sir Frederick Lugard, the Governor of Hong Kong from 1907 to 1912 and first Chancellor of Hong Kong U, was indeed a man of vision. The University of Hong Kong was founded in 1911, with arts, engineering and medicine as its first faculties. The Faculty of Medicine evolved from the Hong Kong College of Medicine, which was founded in 1887. In its first 50 years, Hong Kong U was the only university in Hong Kong. Hong Kong U, since its inception, has been a university with a strong mission for developing all-rounded students not only for Hong Kong, but also for China and the whole world. As put by Sir Frederick in 1912, the graduates of this university will go forth into China with standards of life, with conceptions of duty, with characters and ideals formed during their training within these walls. The original ordinance of Hong Kong U stipulated that the university was for students of all races, nationalities and creeds. Hong Kong U, since its early days, has been an international university serving students from all over the world. The foundation stone of the main building, the first building of Hong Kong U, was laid on the 16th of March in 1910 by Sir Frederick Lugard. The main building was completed in 1912. This is a bazaar celebrating the second Foundation Day. We still celebrate the Foundation Day on the 16th of March. Mark that in your diary. We have a holiday while everyone else has to go to work. Initially, there were just a handful of staff and students. Female students were not admitted to Hong Kong U until 1921. Lo Kew Hall is now the place where a lot of important university ceremonies are held. In those days, it was known as the Great Hall. This is the first graduation ceremony of the university in 1916. Altogether, there were 23 graduates and 5 graduates with honours. Dr. Sun Yat-sen studied medicine at the Hong Kong College of Medicine, which later became Hong Kong U's Faculty of Medicine. He was one of the first graduates of the college in 1892. He is now celebrated all over the world as the father of modern China. In 1923, the Students' Union of Hong Kong U invited Dr. Sun to address them. Again in the Great Hall, he said, "I feel as though I have returned home, because Hong Kong and the University of Hong Kong are the birthplace of my knowledge." After his speech, the students carried Dr. Sun on their shoulders, out from Lo Kew Hall and down to the main entrance, where this historic photograph was taken. Today, we still have a statue of Dr. Sun located next to the lily pond, which was unveiled in 2003. The university's idea is perhaps most succinctly captured in its shield, which was designed in 1912 and adopted in 1916. It combines the two ancient languages of Chinese and Latin. within the open book, which symbolizes learning, we find the 4 Chinese characters that are taken from the Confucian classic, The Great Learning, 大学, which also means university in Chinese. These Chinese words, 明德 and 格物, emphasize the traditional values of both moral and intellectual training. We should bring out the good nature of humankind. We should also pursue the very roots of knowledge and truth. Below the shield is the Latin equivalent, sapientia e virtus, which can best be translated into wisdom and virtue. The Chinese and Latin echo each other. In 2012, we had our centenary celebration and the opening of the Centennial Campus. In 2016, the university promulgated its vision for the next decade in this vision document. It tells you how we can be Asia's global university through our 3+1 I's. That is, internationalization, innovation, interdisciplinarity, converging to make an impact. To realize its mission, the university places a strong emphasis on whole-person education with unique out-of-classroom platforms for the cultivation of intellectual, social, multicultural, and leadership capabilities. Student residences form an integral part of Hong Kong U's education rather than just a means of accommodation. The first hall of the university, St. John's Hall, now known as St. John's College, was completed in 1912. Morrison Hall was founded in 1913. We have 13 residential halls and 2 non-residential halls that emphasize on giving students an opportunity to develop and grow. Another form of residential experience is offered in the 4 residential colleges established in 2012, with roughly equal representations of undergraduates and postgraduates, and students from Hong Kong, mainland China, and overseas. The Students' Union is an independent and autonomous body. The union, when it first started in 1912, consisted of both staff and students. In 1919, the first Students' Union building was opened. The Students' Union building has become Hong Hing Ying Building today. It is now a place for Hong Kong U Foundation and alumni affairs. This is also one of the many declared monuments on campus. The Students' Union has also grown with the university. Through the Students' Union, Hong Kong U students have substantially contributed to the governance and advancement of the university and society. We have a student body of over 30,000 students, of whom over 17,000 are undergraduates. Across all levels of study, we have close to 36%, or over 10,000 non-local students coming from around 100 countries. We also have around 2,000 incoming exchange or visiting students from around 30 countries. Over 60% of our professoriate staff are non-local. Hong Kong U has indeed come a long way in the last 100 years. We do have a lot to cheer for. We are one of the top universities in the world. It has taken the hard effort of many generations of people. Be proud to be part of the Hong Kong U family.
I hope we have convinced you that we are indeed very privileged to be part of the Hong Kong U family. We are proud of Hong Kong U, and Hong Kong U is proud of you. May I now invite Professor Xiang Jiang, President and Vice-Chancellor, to address us. Professor Jiang, please.
Good morning, and welcome to the University of Hong Kong. I'm sorry we can't meet in person today. I can see your excited young faces. But this special inauguration will hopefully mark a more memorable start to your exploration here as a member of Hong Kong University. The community, known not only for academic excellence, but also for countless leaders in many sectors we have nurtured. Leaders reputed for their resilience and ability to rise to the challenge and prevail. You have overcome many difficulties to get here. Congratulations. Hong Kong has also pulled through thick and thin battling against COVID-19, thanks to healthcare professionals, scientists, and others working hard behind the scene. Maybe this is not how you imagine your introduction to university's life would be, but I'm sure you appreciate the special circumstances, and I promise you a vibrant and fruitful journey over the next few years regardless. Today is a day for celebration as well as reflection. The world has changed at a fundamental level and will never again be the same. A major global crisis such as COVID-19 always brings profound social changes. In mid-ages, for instance, the Black Death devastated Europe and other parts of the world. However, it was followed by Renaissance, a prolonged period of culture, artistic, economic experience, not to mention the significant scientific advancement and discoveries. If we think about it, life has always been uncertain and unpredictable. The world goes from one crisis to the other, and next great challenge may just around the corner. The fact is that we are forever walking a fine line between crisis and opportunities. If we adapt and respond with new ways of thinking, you may be able to turn crisis into opportunities. We may even be able to stay ahead of the curve. It is indeed in the university's DNA to brave new frontiers and create new possibilities for the world. One of our 6 foundation educational aims is tackling novel situations and ill-defined problems. We nurture students to respond positively to unanticipated situations and create innovative solutions. The next few years will help prepare you for a world that needs your talent and expertise, passion, and compassion. Whatever work you do on the daily basis, however insignificant it may seem, can contribute to a better tomorrow for all. Our scientists and researchers have been working on coronavirus research for many years. Because of their work, when COVID-19 sprung up and spread, we already have people and equipment in place to tackle it. There was already a bank of knowledge to draw from and build on. Our experts were able to share their findings to help the concerted effort to develop effective response initiatives. Hong Kong U is a place where bright minds meet and where new ideas has spark off. No matter where you are from or what your background is, you will have something to learn, and more importantly, you will have something to offer. It is this diversity of ideas, beliefs, and experiences that binds the university together and makes it great. We encourage rigorous debate and discourse, for as long as it is done responsibly, with respect for one and the other, and within the bound of law. Many of your classmates will become your lifelong friends, maybe also future colleagues. As university students, you owe it to yourself to get out of comfort zone and make meaningful connections with your peers, especially those who may hold a worldview different from your own. Hong Kong U is a leading global university. You come here for a world-class education, and we hope you leave with much more. Even in a normal time, transition to university life can be daunting. I understand if some of you are apprehensive about how your first year or your first week will play out. Just remember that you are now part of a long-standing, sizable Hong Kong U family, and we are here to support you in whatever way we can. I look forward to the day when we no longer need to wear the mask, and I can see you and get to know you all around the campus. Good luck and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Zhang, and please remain on stage. The robing ceremony shall now commence. Please stand up and hold the green gown in your hands until the President asks you to put it on. Please remain standing until the robing ceremony is completed. May we now have the honor to have Professor Zhang conduct the robing ceremony. Professor Zhang, please.
It is a time-honored tradition of the university that our undergraduates wear green gowns. They symbolize your membership to the university and are your passport to a successful future. I believe you're ready to take your place in the history, tradition, and the future of the University of Hong Kong. Please put on your green gown now. Welcome to the university, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, Professor Zhang. Please be seated.
Thank you, Professor Zhang. Congratulations. We welcome you to the Hong Kong U family again. As all of you may know, the green gown is the official attire formally worn by undergraduates on formal occasions, including examinations in the past and high-table dinners in present days. By putting on the green gown, you officially farewell your secondary school lives and become a university student. In closing the ceremony, I would like to thank all the first-year students for being with us online this morning. We thank you for your presence. It is our pleasure to welcome you to the Hong Kong U family. May I wish you all very fruitful years ahead at Hong Kong U. Thank you.
This is the end of the ceremony. Please rise.